You're welcome to Let's Talk.
We sit down and talk. We need to sit down and talk. How Nigeria corruption, how we're going to do our job.
If one can stand up and say no to corruption, we're going to do our job because we're telling the system, you are not just doing good for yourself or for the nation, you also do good for the future.
Boko Haram is an attack, it's a spiritual attack. It's a satanic attack on Nigeria. We must, if we come to recognize it, we will understand then how to look for the solution.
The sovereign national conference, how do we want to achieve that in our present system? We need to sit down and iron out how Nigeria should be governed.
It's Let's Talk. And there's a lot in the news talking about information bordering on a nationhood right now. And the Farouk Lawan House Ad Hoc Committee on Petroleum Subsidy has had inaugurated with it. It came with much fanfare and expectations in the House on fuel subsidy removal protests in January. Now we're talking about the fuel subsidy probe report and Farouk Lawan's bribery allegation. Now that report came way back in January after the protest on the removal of oil subsidy. And it was greeted with a lot of fanfare. A lot of Nigerians were hopeful that it will bring respite and bring a new regime of a clean and, how do you call it, transparent system, whereby those who have perpetrated malpractices in the oil sector would be brought to book. Well, it seems that there's a current development now that doesn't look quite palatable, and it is very interesting. And today we have someone on the show that will be helping us really give us some insight and shed some light into what is really happening now, talking about the whistleblowing between oil baron Otedola and Farouk Lawan. Okay, and welcome to the show, sir. I'm talking to Mr. Sunday Odibashi, political editor, national daily, and public policy analyst. Now, sir, it's really interesting, you know, and to see what is happening right now. Yeah. And talking about the bribery allegation between Otedola and Farouk Lawan. Now, the committee, the Farouk Lawan-led committee has been indicted for corruption allegations of accepting a bribe of $600,000 cash. What do you think about this scenario?
Well, yeah, it's a demonstration of the degree to which the government of Nigeria, or we say the Nigerian system, is being immersed in corruption. Okay. Now, this demonstrates the extent to which both the ruling elite and the governing elite have compromised corruption in the system. Now, the system can no longer thrive without being corrupt. So all the essence of rule of law, you know, and all the norms and values of democracy have been relegated to the background, whereby the ruling elite and the governing elite now impose themselves on the system and do whatever they want to do with the system in their own way. Now, also, furthermore, the institutions of governance is also have so much compromised corruption, okay, from the presidency to the local government, that the norms regulating their behavior is simply about corruption. Okay. And now, when Farouk Lawan came up with this, with the probe, you know, Nigerians embraced it, they welcomed it, and they expected, you know, that there will be changes. But when we you monitor the proceedings, then the outcome and where we are today, then it's not really shocking, because the whole practice, the whole process, you know, is really corrupt.
Well, sir, in spite of the fact that when the report was concluded, the House looked at it and unanimously it was embraced, was accepted, it was greeted with a lot of commendation. But now it seems that after it had been concluded, investigations into the allegations right now, Nigerians have agitated that Farouk himself step aside so that investigations can continue. Now, what is your take? Should he step aside in this kind of situation?
Yeah, yes, certainly that's just the best way out of it, in the first instance. Okay. You know, remember how had the Hembe and Ote saga? Yes. And we knew where that one ended us. Okay. Again, here is a man who has so much, built so much integrity in the system. You know, when he led integrity group to push away the former speaker, Patricia Ite, you know, on corruption allegations. And now he's in it now. So the best thing for him is to step aside, you know, and find a way of protecting himself. Because we are yet to get to the real issue.
Right.
Because it's like two smart guys, you know, playing a smart game. You can see the Otedola representing the ruling elite from the business community, and Farouk represented the governing elite from government, from National Assembly. You understand? So playing a fast game. So we don't know who is the corrupt guy now. Because Farouk, from some report, he said that he reviewed this earlier than this time, that he was giving so amount of money. And here is an Otedola saying, oh yes, he was giving this so amount of money for a certain issue, you know, for protection. And when we get to this point now, was the man really protected? It's one question.
Okay.
You know, did the purpose for which he was giving the money, was it served? If we get to that level and that is done, then he has to go in for it. But if on the other side we now find out, yes, he was playing a game now to draw this man in and all those things, then it will be, but the best option for him is, you know, is to step aside. And if he is convinced that, yes, he is not guilty or whatever, or he has been embarrassed or disgraced publicly, then he can sue.
Well, the facts coming out on the current development now on this issue is Farouk Lawan says he reported to the police when he received the bribe. And the bribe was meant to be, how do you call it, an exhibit, okay? And he reported to the police, and apparently the police are aware that he was bribed about this. Now, Otedola on the other side said that he was pressurized by Farouk Lawan to give the bribe, and he did it under, you know, the guidance of the State Security Service. Now, the roles in which our security operatives have played in this issue, they've not come out to discredit nor accept the accusations or the statements made by both parties. What do you think their role should be in this whole issue? Don't you think they should come out or the Inspector General of Police should come out and say something concerning this issue?
Yeah, you see, don't also be carried away by trying to think that even the security apparatuses are also, you know, free. They're also part of the system.
Okay, have they been compromised?
Well, the entire system has compromised corruption.
Okay.
Including the security, the judiciary, and all institutions of government. So, and the game is playing out openly. Well, we cannot accuse the police for now. Neither do we accuse the SSS, but I think it is more proper for them to come and say this is the situation, the position. But the point is that they have to investigate.
Okay.
Bring the two parties just like they are doing. We want to hear Otedola, we want to hear Farouk. Okay. Nigerians want to, and the judiciary also must have to sit up and do the right thing. Okay. You know, because you see, we still have facts that the system is totally compromised. We had the case of the former governor of Delta State being set free by the judiciary in Nigeria, and then in UK he's been sent to jail, to prison.
All right, sir.
Sure.
Do you think in this whole saga that because of what has happened now, because of this current situation, development right now on ground, does it anyway discredit the report and make it look like a hoax from the very beginning? Does it look like something that was just a jamboree that Nigerians were taking on a ride?
No. It doesn't discredit the report in any way.
Okay.
The only thing is that maybe one or two persons played fast game and got exonerated. Okay. They were not indicted, you know, so to say. But I think the report stays because we watched the live coverage of the probe, of the investigation, and we had them one-on-one. Those who appeared, you know, so we got all the details. You know, even without the report, Nigerians already know what what happened, what transpired. And the only surprise that Mr. President himself, you know, has refused to act, because Nigeria needed a kind of follow-up. Okay. You know, if you follow up from where this people stopped, they have helped the presidency to expose, you know, the ills in the system. Okay. So it's for him to have stepped in and say, okay, let's pick it up from here.
Okay, a lot of people have said, okay, when these indictments were made and the report concluded, that definitely the marketers, it would have been, how do you call it, naive of the public to think that the marketers would just sit down and watch themselves being prosecuted and brought to book. They would do something to make sure that that report is scuttled. Now, do you think that this whole saga right now is an attempt to discredit that report, to make that report of any significance? Because if farouk Lawan is indicted right now, if his committee is, how do you put it, if put in a bad light, don't you think it will have an adverse effect on the way that report is looked at? It will take away the credibility that that report has right now.
Yeah, certainly in a process like this, you will not expect them to sit back and watch, the government, so to say, rush their business. You understand? Because like there's a relationship between this ruling elite and the governing elite. They always have that relationship. And what is in between them is business. Okay. It's about money. Either money in government or money in business. Some are front for government officials. All right? Now, some are doing their own, getting to, improving their business, making profit sharing their business through, government patronage. So those things are there. Now, Farouk Lawan was not cautious. I think he was a little reckless because he needed some element of caution, knowing that, yes, these people are coming back. They will surely get at him. We had into the Elumelu, saga, and so many of them. So he would have been very careful, more careful than this, to know that, yes, these people are coming. It's a global phenomenon. Even in the United States, the same thing happened. In Europe, the same thing. Look at Greece and all those places. But the point is that the government will always remain the government. But when the government compromise the system, right, and subscribe to their overtures, then you can easily fall.
A lot of analysts have said, based on the body language of the government, it took taking them so long to implement the recommendations, giving time for this kind of thing to raise its ugly head. That was it part of the ploy to see that this report doesn't see the light of day? Do you think that?
No, the government of Nigeria is not generally known for implementing reports. Okay. After investigations have been carried out, there are so many reports, so many